as I discussed, like which way do they want to go as far as head coaches? Do they want to go retreads or something like that? Mike McCarthy, I know he's from the Pittsburgh area. Do you want to do anything like that? I mean, that doesn't excite me if I'm a Steeler fan, right? Do they want to stay in the mold of let's go defensive coach like Cowher and Tomlin and continue to do that? Like a Jesse Minter, who I think the world of, and I think could bring that same type of Blitzburg type of feel back to Pittsburgh. Is it one of them? Or is it some other offensive guy out there, right? A Todd Monken, somebody like that. I don't know. But I'm going to be interested to see where they go in this conversation and what kind of guy they're really looking for the football team.
The NFL has a very real ageism problem that doesn't get discussed nearly enough, but there are far too many occasions where you hear it's a young man's game and older coaches don't get the
Brian
same
Flores,
consideration that
right?
others do.
Sorry, that's another one.
So
he'd be perfect.
Right.
Saleh could maybe be that kind of guy because I think he's probably. I mean, he's going to get another chance. He deserves one. You don't know. The coach for the Jets. A lot of people don't look good when they're there.
I'm glad you mentioned Flores because when I was doing some work a couple of weeks ago on Flores' head coaching prospects, obviously we know things didn't go well and didn't end well in Miami. In Minnesota, when you start scratching, you get surprised by Minnesota nice, Belichick way, doesn't necessarily mesh. In Pittsburgh, they loved Brian Flores. And that's the team that gave him an opportunity in the immediate aftermath of him suing the NFL, the Broncos, the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Texans. He later added the Texans after they didn't hire him. They had 3 finalists for the job. They went off the board and hired Lovie Smith. And his argument is, you didn't seriously consider me because I dared to take on Big Shield in court. But the Steelers loved him that year. They did the right thing then.
Right.
I thought he was trading in his career for good once he filed that lawsuit. It's why I thought no one would ever do it. The fact that he's a defensive coordinator 4 years later is amazing, and it's a testament to his talent and his work ethic and his character.
Right.
But the Steelers gave him that first chance as assistant head coach or senior defensive consultant, whatever it was. He was there for a year, and they loved him. They loved him. And maybe the phone's going to ring for Brian Flores before it's all said and done.
Well, he would fit the mold. There's no question. Him going there, Steeler toughness, right? The Steelers are an organization where they're not worried about the head coach coming in and going, hey, everybody, you okay? You want some donuts today? We're going to band camp. No, they want guys that come in and are like, hey, I don't just, like some of these wimpy franchises that are like, I don't want a coach that's too critical and tough and tells us the honesty all the time and what's wrong with us, right? And I think that's what happens with guys. That was the MO about Kyle Shanahan. That's the MO about all the good coaches that are coming up the ranks. They're cranky. They want to be in control. They know usually a lot more than the guys that are in charge, right? They're good at what they do because they're freaking demanding on everybody all the time. And those are the stories I hear about Brian Flores. And as you hear me say from time to time, winning ain't supposed to be comfortable. It ain't supposed to be band camp. Winning was never comfortable with Bill Walsh and the 49ers or Chuck Noll of the Steelers or Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys or Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Usually the teams that are really good are on a little bit of an edge because the coach is edgy. And that's where, I think it's a little times like Brian Flores gets a bad rap for that, and I don't agree with that. But, yeah, I think he could go in there and be just the kind of guy that they are looking for and make them tough and creative as hell on the defensive side of the ball and, still keep that Steeler attitude that we know is so famous.
Twice in the last week or so, you have said that football isn't band camp. Do you know something about band camp that I don't? Because I don't know anything about band camp. For all I know, it's every bit as rigorous as football coaching. If you haven't seen the movie Whiplash, I would suggest you go see it.
Oh,
that was a band, and that was pretty rough.
Fair. That's fair. You're right. That's your one. Okay, you're right. That was rough. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so that guy was like the Mike Tomlin or Brian Flores of coaches. That's why he was so damn good. Right? What the hell's his name, that actor? He's an incredible actor. I love him.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. But you're right. Okay, that band camp, that does stand up to the football rigors of the world. The most band camps that I know about, I don't think do. Sorry.
All right. Actually, I recently, Saquon Barkley told reporters last week that, he'd seen that movie and it just like gave them extra inspiration heading into the playoffs. Didn't work, but it did give them a little extra. Maybe watch a different movie next time. Not my tempo. Wasn't the outcome that the Eagles were looking for. All right. So, look, they have work to do. And they don't fire up this engine very often. This is a car that stays in the garage for 2 decades at a time. They got to go figure out how to turn the key on the coaching search machine in Pittsburgh. But Flores, I think, is a name to watch. I really do.
Do you think they'd go offensive genius guy, right? Would they change their mold? Would they go Cliff Kingsbury, let's say, or a Mike McDaniel or a Joe Brady, right? Somebody like that. Do you think that's in their DNA and what they're looking for? I don't picture that, but maybe they're looking for a new way of playing football in a new era. I'm just throwing it out there for some sort of combo.
No, nothing against those guys. I'm just the thought of Cliff Kingsbury as the Steelers head coach, like, it just doesn't fit. Like, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it is grit, it is toughness, it is blue collar, it is rough and tumble, and all the things that, created issues in Miami, all the things that apparently are creating some issues in Minnesota where, and I'm not, look, I don't know anything. Maybe he's at fault. Maybe he is over the top at times. Maybe he's learned. Maybe he's grown. Maybe his 3 years with Kevin O'Connell will balance out his personality a little bit. But, despite my own characteristics, I grew up in the era and in the locale of coal mines and steel mills.
Yeah.
And every time, and this is real. Every time the guy picked up the lunch pail and walked out the door, there was a chance he wasn't coming home. That's what those jobs were. Serious physical risks. You could die any given day in a coal mine or a steel mill, and it happened far more often, I believe, in the coal mines. But still, it is an area where the attitude of the average person is far closer to the attitude of the average hard-charging, demanding football coach.
Yeah.
And, yeah, what doesn't work for Brian Flores elsewhere may work for him perfectly in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I certainly could see that, right? I definitely could. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here and where these interviews go. But as we've said, it's a special organization. There's a few pieces, but I think the cupboard's kind of dry in totality. And especially that quarterback situation's a tough one to figure out. And then, like we said, Cam Hayward, maybe he plays one more year, but I don't think it's going to be much more than that. And we're looking at T.J. Watt. He's still really good, but we talked. He's on the downslope of his career for sure. So where does that go, and how appealing is that to everybody out there? I'll be interested to see where that is.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.